Hello, everyone, and welcome to our pub chat. That's what it's like being down at the pub, Bayek. Of course, drinking Yorkshire beer, Tetley's or something decent like that. And as you can see, we've got Delboy here, and he's all Halloweened.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've had that picture in the background before, but yeah.
Yeah,
And we're going to wish everybody a happy Halloween. There are a lot of streams that are going to go on in the next couple of days. I'm happy that the people that are here are going to enjoy some chat with us. It's going to be
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
all. That's all that matters to me is that we all have fun.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. So my usual question is, what have we been watching? By
Oh bloody hell! I'll have to turn the background off. What?
yeah.
It's actually been a bit busy actually the
Oh, that's
last
good.
couple of days because
Yeah.
I've been doing some game stuff, but
Oh, right. Yeah.
I had to have my teeth done on Monday,
All right.
so
Is
of
that
course I had to do
sorted now?
I had to do
Yeah.
everything early on Monday because I knew I wouldn't be able to talk in the evening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of course there's only Tuesday, and then suddenly we're here. So but I don't know with some of these I've shown already, but there's a Convoy
Yeah.
Steelbook.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
quite good. Convoy, the
Yeah.
late Chris Christopherson. So
Oh,
that's
what? Yeah.
pertinent,
Great.
isn't it?
Great guy.
I don't know if I showed that last week. That was the Magnificent Seven Steelbook. I think I
Yeah.
did, but I couldn't quite
Yeah.
remember if I did.
That came out in a good year,
Yeah,
1960. Brilliant stuff coming out in 1960.
yeah. I mean, you were
Time
20 years.
machine.
You were
The
20 years
time
old for a start, weren't you? So I mean,
machine.
I think a lot of people now have got the Doctor Who
Yeah,
20th
brilliant.
season
Enjoyed it.
25.
It's just looks good.
And of course, the big one that no one has seen just yet is June 2. Which
Wow,
comes
look
in this
at
bigger box. Look, it covers my head. You can't really see anything.
that.
That's got 2 steel books in there and a lithogram and all of that sort of stuff. But I tell you what, because of the having to use my car a bit and do shopping and get the dentistry work and everything done, I've been listening to ELO in the car.
Oh, by excellent music. Wow.
Yeah, so I've sort of like when I was listening to it in the car, I was going, "Oh, I do like that. I wonder how many albums I've got." So I went into my CD collection. I didn't look at the records. I mean, the
Yeah.
records are all sort of like upstairs and all of that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And I have got 5 of their albums on CD. One
Which
of
one
them
did
is
you play?
one of them is an anthology.
Yeah.
The anthology is a huge thing. I mean, it's a big
Yeah.
sort of like thing with 4 discs in it, and in a presentation book and all of this sort of stuff. But and of course, then I looked on my in my cases, and I realised that I've got the Blu-ray of the Wembley concert that happened a couple of years ago.
Even better for you. Yeah.
I do like ELO. They're
Yeah.
at that time where my sister introduced me to them.
Yeah.
I think what had come out. I think
Do you
Hold
remember
On
the
Tight.
first single?
I think
10
Hold On. I think the album was Hold On. It had Hold On Tight and
Yeah.
Telephone Man. Telephone Man. No, I think
I always
I mean,
remember that first single. It's just a number, isn't it? Is
that with Wizard? The lead singer of Wizard. That
No,
first
that was
ELO.
their first single. ELO's first single.
Yeah,
That's
so it
how
must
I
have been.
remember
So
seeing it on top of the Pops.
it must have been with the singer of
Yeah, it's
of Wizard
something
because
overture. It's something like 10
oh
something.
yeah,
Overture.
1812 overture. So it's Beethoven, isn't it?
It's brilliant. It's their first single because I remember seeing them on top of the Pops and thought, "Wow, this is different."
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I've always liked Jeff Lynne.
Yeah.
You know, he obviously worked with the Traveling Wilburys, and I bought my mum that album because she liked Roy Orbison. I like Tom Petty. You see,
Yeah,
so
Tom Petty.
So I bought that.
Isn't that sad? Both of them are not with us.
Yeah,
Roy Orbison or Tom Petty.
George Harrison.
Yeah, George Harrison. Dylan's
yeah.
still here, but
Yeah.
I wonder how old Dylan is. He must be
Don't know. I don't think he bloody well cares anyway, because he sold all his back catalogue for God knows how many million, didn't he?
It's
So
still
I don't give a shit anymore.
it's massive as well. I didn't realize how many albums he recorded. It's
But I was
absolutely
just thinking to myself, one of the questions I was going to ask you before we go to the questions that are in the room was, have you got any ELO records or CDs? Because you'll have to go on your Music Magpie and start bloody getting some now, I think.
No, I've only got them on compilations. I haven't got any. If I was going to get any, I would probably get the two major big albums that are mentioned, and the name is completely forgotten. It's with the big sort of flying.
Well, that's the thing. I was going to say the thing that wised me up to it, I said, was my sister. But when she showed me the cover and it had that big spaceship, which I always thought looked like Simon Says, the electronic game that came out in the late 70s.
Yeah,
I thought, oh, bloody hell, it's got a spaceship on the front. I got to have that, and then I played it to death.
And I bet you loved it. Yeah, why not?
Because he uses a lot of music filters that sound like synthesizers. So I mean, again, it was pandering to something that I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're getting into playing your music. It's good. Good.
Well, like I said, the more that I'll go back to work, the more I'll be listening to stuff in the car. The more I'll be going back to listening to certain stuff. And to be quite honest, now after you've listened to the budget today, I don't really want to listen to talk radio where they're talking bollocks about how much better I'm going to be off when I know full well I ain't.
Well, nobody's better off. That's what budgets are for, so that we're not better off. That's the whole point of them. If we were better off, we wouldn't have a budget.
See, that was the other thing that I did today. I watched that Martin, whatever his name is, that's on, and he explained that everybody tomorrow, and this is today, should phone up your electricity firm. You know, the people that you get your electricity from, and go to a variable tariff, because everybody. Well, he said 80% of the country, as an estimate, is on a fixed tariff at the moment, which is at 10%. And if you go to a variable, it's at 6%, right? So that's 4%, right? 4%. You're paying 4% over at the moment, and the forecast for the next year is that it will go up by 1%, which means that it won't go any higher than, predictably, we don't know. It won't go higher than 7.2%.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, bloody hell, that's still 3%.
Yeah.
And of course, you can do this on a 12-month.
Yeah.
So basically, I phoned up and I put them straight away on the lower tariff.
Yeah.
Which will save my mum some money, because obviously she wouldn't have been able to do it. She could. There's no. The other thing that I've noticed about these these firms that do the fuel stuff, there's no special number for pensioners to ring that are hard of hearing.
Ah, good point.
And the survey question that they asked me at the end was, what was it? What did they say? Why didn't you do this online? And I said, because not everybody's got a computer, and my mum, who's 83, wouldn't understand what the bloody hell you're talking about.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Telling them. Yeah. Actually,
I said the question was as dumb.
Yeah.
I said the question you've asked me was as dumb as saying, do you do Braille for the hard of hearing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's as thick as that. You know.
I must admit, though, I got a letter. I must be one of the lucky ones, where they've given me the £150 spread out off the bills that are coming. So I'm quite pleased with that. But that won't come in till next year. That's when the company will start taking it off. But I was surprised I've got it, but it must be because I come under with my sort of sickness and illness stuff, all that sort of stuff. And that's why I must have got it. But that is something.
You look incredibly fit for an 80-year-old. That's all.
I do. Now, it's amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. What
all I got to say is that I've taken up 8 minutes of your time, and I know these people want us to read out their comments. So
right.
I'm going to give. So guys that are in the room that are chatting, thanks very much for being here. I'm now handing over the next 20 minutes of what he's watched.
No, I don't think so.
And what he's listened to.
Yeah.
Then we'll get to your comment.
Let's see. I'll try and go as quick as I can. Yeah.
Are you gonna do the Tony?
Tony. Get it out of the way first.
You're gonna do the Tony collection first. There you go.
I'm just doing just one Tony one. This is Young Winston.
This
was directed by Richard Attenborough. It's his first film that he directed, and it's a great historical film. A lot with Boer War, brilliant with Churchill.
And as you know, I bought that on Blu-ray for $5 in that collection. You know that. What was the company? It was the company that brought out 10 Rillington. You bought 10 Rillington's Place from them, I think, didn't you?
Yeah. It's his first direct. I think a lot of people think 10 Rillington Place was.
No, I'm just saying. I can't remember the company that we bought them from. You know what I mean? On the spine, it tells you. Is it Spectra or Intrada or something? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Let me see if I can see. Let me just see quickly if I can. I won't take up too much time. Hang on.
It's all right. We got plenty of time. Hopefully.
Signal 1.
Oh, yeah. Signal 1. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Signal 1 every so often do these. They're a $5 each, aren't they? And all that.
Yeah. That's pretty. In fact, I must get one, but I enjoyed that now. And then the other film I rewatched. I've had this before, but I watched this Smile again.
Yeah.
And because Smile 2 has come out, and I'm looking forward to that. I love this. I thought there's a lot of originality. I've heard people criticizing this, certain people, and the ending. Honestly, this is a great script. It's about 10 times better than blooming Terrifier and all that stuff. This is really good. It's creepy. I mean, look at that smile. And the film is creepy. It's brilliantly acted. It's a good story. It's actually a story. Yeah, brilliant. So I'm looking forward to Smile 2 when that is released. Now, the other thing I watched the.
Just before you go on, if anybody doesn't know, Smile isn't the first film. It was Laura Hasn't Slept.
Yeah, which is an extra on here. It's one of the extras they did.
And of course, I've got the Steelbook.
Of course. Well, what else would you? I'm really looking forward to Smile 2 because I've heard good things, and if it's as good as that, then it's wonderful. Now I watched The Return of the Living Dead, and I wasn't impressed at all with that. It was very disappointing. I think the reason was the comedy didn't work for me that good. You know, we can do better comedy with like Shaun of the Dead and things like that.
Yeah.
That didn't work for me that well. I was pretty unimpressed with it. And what else did I watch? The Valentine one. What's it called? My
Bloody Valentine.
My Bloody Valentine. Yes, I watched the 3D version of that.
Oh, bloody hell!
And I thought it was quite good. I don't think it's as good as the 1981 one, but I thought it was pretty good. All right,
Yeah,
quite enjoyed it.
I got the 4K of that.
Have you? Oh, it's not bad, is it? You know, I didn't expect it to be quite as good. I was a bit surprised. I went
Yeah,
in quite sort of negative.
it's from Arrow, I think. The 4K.
Yeah. Well, it's very good. I enjoyed it. You know, obviously everybody quite rightly looks at the. I think it's 1981, the original one, but
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Excellent. And I think that's it really. I've just been watching Hammer stuff. I won't go into detail with Hammer, but I've been watching more. It's like a comfort thing, and I love watching all the Hammer ones.
Well,
like
yesterday they had Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula on BBC. I don't know if you saw that.
I'm not.
And,
I'll be honest. I'm not as
if you
keen
weren't
on.
watching that and you were flipping through the channels, you'd see that Sky documentary had the Christopher Lee documentary,
Yeah,
which they show an awful lot of. And
yeah.
the other thing I saw in the news is along with Michael Parkinson's AI, they've got Peter Cushing AI. So
Yes. Nice
AI's
story about that.
AI and
Again.
artificial intelligence
Yes,
annoys me.
it does, doesn't
Um,
it?
and this Parkinson thing annoys me.
Yeah, it does.
I just think to myself, look, the guy, he's a
Leave
legend.
it. Leave it alone. Yeah.
He's gone now. We had all the
Yeah.
chances to have all the interviews and
And
use
his
him and all this sort
legacy
of stuff.
is massive. It's all right. He's got such a big legacy already. We don't need any rubbish. The other thing, just before I remembered, is I watched again Late Night with the Devil, and I liked it more than I did originally. I know everybody raves over it, and it is well done. I appreciate it and liked it, but you know what film I'm still in love with is Maxine, and I can't.
Oh, don't go bloody on!
Film. I just love Maxine so much. Late Night with the Devil is it's a good film. It is a good film.
Oh, I can't comment on Maxine because I've seen Late Night with the Devil, but I haven't seen Maxine. So
yeah, and Abigail I would probably put ahead of Late Night with the Devil as well. I love Abigail, but
I find that difficult. I find that difficult.
Top five, but I don't know.
I'd find that difficult. I'd find that difficult to believe. But I'm not going to say it's not. It's just that for me, Late Night and the Devil with the Devil works because it combines two mediums that I love, which is behind the scenes of a movie of a TV studio that's trying to record a chat.
I get that.
And then all of the horror elements like Exorcist and everything.
I think maybe it is something that I wasn't as impressed, and I rewatched it again and liked it. I think it's excellent. I do think it's an excellent film, but I don't quite love it enough. I don't, I have to really fall in love with films to get really passionate about. And I'm not as passionate about it.
This is the
it's
thing.
Well done. It's well acted. It's a great concept.
But this is the thing. This is where it's each to their own. So don't worry about it. I'm just saying. I still think the number one horror film for me this year is Substance.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I might, I'm hoping that I might agree on that. I'm hoping so, because everybody's talked about it, and I'm really looking forward to watching that Substance.
And like I say, I just like I said last week, and it's no surprise. I look forward to seeing Abigail. I look forward to seeing Maxine when the 4Ks come out.
Yeah.
I will not buy a Blu-ray and then upgrade it to 4K. They're not going to get the money twice out of me. I'm sorry. It ain't gonna happen.
I'll probably just go for Blu-ray, maybe. I don't know. But it's like with Smile 2, you see now. I'm thinking, well, Smile 2 is going to probably be in there now as a favorite film. I'm sure, because in fact, a lot of people have said it's even better. I've seen more positive views, but I'm dying to see Smile 2. But I think there's people I've heard been saying, "Oh, there's not been as good films this year in certain areas," and no, I think there's been a lot of good films.
Yeah.
There's been a lot, some really good stuff. Yeah, I think I've gone on too much.
I think the people that are saying that, you know, I'm not going to badmouth them. They're just people that look at all the stuff that was announced, went to see them, and then came away despondent. But what you have to understand is all the big ones that were mentioned are all from the big Hollywood houses. I think this year has been a classic cherry year for independent film.
Yeah,
and therefore 2024 does not make it a bad year.
no,
it would be a bad year if all the Hollywood films that came out plus the indie films were shit.
Yeah,
but I'm happier to go to the pictures and see a film that surprises me.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not that bothered that Paramount and Warner and all of those come out with stuff and they've not hit the high figures that they wanted, because maybe it'll give them a wake up call. I don't think it ever will, but you know.
I'll tell you, there is one film that I know Josh likes and I love it as well, which is Zone of Interest. What a film that is. And I keep forgetting to remember. So if that comes out on a physical release, then I will definitely get that. It is something special. Now, you see, I try and think of that and Late Night with the Devil together, and they're both so well crafted together. But I just would say that Zone of Interest really gets me something about it even more. But I do love Late Night with the Devil. It's certainly not one I dismiss at all. I know a lot of people that'll be their number one. Definitely,
Yeah.
I can see that. Right. So, shall we get?
So we'll read out the comments while we're waiting for the dartboard and the pool table to come free, because we've got our pints in our hands, but of course, the dartboard's being used. They're playing
I was going to say you can get some pork scratchings, but you've just been to the dentist and you don't want to ruin your teeth.
Right.
Get pork scratchings out. So,
right. Dear. God. Pig's ears.
Right then, let's go with the first comment. This is from Si. Hi guys, sorry I'm not in the mood for the chat stream tonight. My dogs passed away yesterday due to bone cancer. To say I'm heartbroken is an understatement. I hope you understand. We do. I mean, I'm so sorry.
Just like McMahon movies, just like McMahon movies, we understand totally. Our pet is a family.
It's a member of your family. Is when that. It's so sad, but thank you for just putting this comment down, and no problem at all. We totally understand. And thank you for sharing that with us anyhow. And you know, I don't know what else to say really. So let's see. The next one is Charles Duncan. Ian, just watched your top 10 favorite Hammer horror films at tea time. What do you think is the worst Hammer film ever made? Now, do you mean Hammer horror? I presume you do.
Yeah.
If you do, just have a think about that. Have you got any ideas yourself?
Well, I've never been a big fan of that. I think it's called that Blood Beast, the one with a big moth. You know, the one where they grow a creature underground, and it's a woman really, but it's more like a blood-sucking moth.
Do you know?
I think it's called the Blood Beast.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Oh yeah, I know which one you mean now. Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of that. It's not terrible.
No,
I mean, I don't know really if of Hammer films that are listed as terrible.
Yeah, I
But
don't
it's
think there
just
is.
that one. It just seemed to be more like toing and froing across this country estate to this little cottage, and then back to the country estate, and talking to the doctor, and then being by the side of a river and watching them fish and all of this sort of stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
going, this is boring as hell. What the? And then when you actually saw the creature and everything, it was like, what? This is pretty shit.
Yeah. I know. I've thought of something. I think not the worst, but the most disappointing film is, in fact, the very last one that they did, which is To the Devil Our Daughter. It's got
Oh,
Richard.
so are you counting the last one as their classic era then?
Yeah,
Because
classic.
I
Classic.
was going
I
to
know
say
it came back.
they did
It
come back
came
with
back
Daniel what's his
with
face, you know.
Daniel Radcliffe and
Yeah.
what have you, the Woman in Black. But the very last one in the classic era, I'll call it, is To Devil of Daughter. It's got Richard Widmark, who's come over to make a Bob or two, and is not really, I don't think, very good in the film. It's a good film, but there are Natasha Kinski's in it, and she's new. There's a bit of controversy about her age in this film as well. You know, underage. It is a good story, but what happened was they kind of stopped filming. The ending is terrible. It's a terrible ending. Widmark went back. He just went off back, didn't finish it properly, and it just ends. And it's a terrible ending where they've built it up. So it's so disappointing, that being the last sort of what I'd call classic Hammer film. That really is disappointing in that the ending just totally ruins the film for me. And it's an interesting film, but you think Widmark, he's not really, he's there for the money. He's just popped over, not really into it, which is a sad ending to that, really. I think it's a sad ending to Hammer. So that's my choice, really. But all the others before that, I really enjoy them. I don't think you can really knock
I've
them.
been told, by the way, that the Blood Beast Terror isn't Hammer, so let me see if I can figure it out.
Right.
It's a difficult one. Now this is going to be a bit controversial, but I don't like that last Hammer film they did, and this is Hammer as far as I know, and that's the one where they're over in Japan. You know, those 7 samurai vampires.
Oh, you don't like that one? I don't mind that one, but yeah, that's one with Peter Cushing, and
it's not about the class of actors that are in it.
Yeah, the Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires.
Yeah, I am not a fan of that. I could have put
everybody.
I could have put Dracula AD 1970, whatever it is. I could have gone for any of those, you know.
Yeah,
but I don't get on with it.
Yeah, no, I accept that. I think a lot of people.
I do tell people that, you know, my absolute 100% recollection of whether something is a Hammer horror film or not is not as good as yours.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've got them all on DVD, you know, in a big box set. I've bought the individual ones that I really want and all of that. But my brain chronologically can't go, is that Tijum? Is that, you know, is it? I can't do that. I still have difficulty. So Tony and Richard Vousden have both turned around and said they're not Hammer. I went, oh, okay.
Yeah. For me, it's all to do with my mum, in a way, who got me into watching them when I was about 11 and 12. And, you know, I've collected all that you can get. There's only one Hammer film. It's a Dracula one, which is out of print, that you can't get hold of. But I've got all those Studio Canal ones, plus all the other ones that are not on Studio Canal. And I think, plug, I've done my 10 best Hammer films. I had such a hard job picking 10. I love them that much. I really do love all those Hammer films. They're like a comfort thing. You know what you're getting. you kind of just enjoy them. And then there are some that perhaps are a bit more different, like Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which is a great one that is a bit more different. I think Hands of the Ripper is a different take on Jack the Ripper, which is excellent. There's things like that. So they were innovative as well. They had different ones, but generally they knew what they were doing and were quite happy to keep doing it. And it works. You can't really argue with it. And they moved, not just doing Gothic. I say with some of them, they were in the present day or just a bit earlier. They weren't all Gothic horror as well, because a lot of people, I think, tend to think, oh, it's all Gothic horror, but it wasn't. They did other things like The Witches.
I just wanted to add, because you happened to mention, about Hammer and that you were introduced to it at 11. I was introduced to it at 9. I don't think it's anything to do with age that makes your recollection any better. Right? It's just you're either gonna remember it or you don't. Through the years, I've been off of horror for, there's a big gap of 10 years for me when I was in Manchester and I was watching a lot of stuff that was on TV. I was watching a lot of science fiction. I was watching a lot of comedies. I hardly ever watched a horror. When I got back home, I started to watch horrors again. But what you have to understand is if 10 years goes by and you don't watch a Hammer film, then your recollection of it is going to be less. Now, I've got huge gaps because of things like that have happened in my life. There have been also times where I didn't watch hardly any films or TV during COVID because I was working 12 hours a day. I never watched anything. And so people's recall is affected. The other thing about it is I've had trouble concentrating at work leading up to the heart attack. And they say that oxygen starvation of your blood can make you have affects your memory, whether it be long term or short term. So I don't feel bad at all, really, that somebody will turn around to me and say, "Hey, that's a Tiger release," because I'll turn around and say, "Hey, do you know what? They look so similar to each other. I didn't know." As far as I'm concerned, if you were to plonk someone and tell them to watch this Hammer film, Vampire Circus, without any credits at the beginning and any credits at the end, and then watch The House That Dripped Blood, right?
Yeah.
Which would star some of the actors like Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then say to them, would you say that was from the same studio? I would say probably 60-70% would get caught out and say, oh, they look both like Hammer films. And the reason for it is their styles were the same.
Yeah,
they probably
the directors.
They probably nicked the directors and producers off of them.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad at all. I mean, at the end of the day,
Amicus and
Tigon, the people that correct me.
Yeah.
Oh, no, what I'm trying to say is the people that correct me educate me.
Yeah.
It's the thing I have an offense against is when somebody goes, you don't know anything about anything because you keep getting things wrong. That's being destructive with a criticism rather than constructive.
There's no need to say that, is there? No need for that at all.
All I got to say to them is, hey, look, test my knowledge on Doctor Who, test my knowledge on
we've all got different kind of memories, and our memories are better on some things than others. It's like I know a lot of people probably got into Hammer in the 80s. Well, with me, it's in the 70s because the BBC ran a series in the 80s where they were showing Hammer films. But I saw mine in this slot in about 1972, it was, on Yorkshire TV called, and it was run nationally, Appointment with Fear. And then I said in 80s, BBC.
I've mentioned it. I've mentioned it before.
Yeah.
My mum would go to bingo on a Friday. And she'd come back about 20 past 9 with a bag of chips for us all.
Yeah.
for a late night supper. She'd watch The Gentle Touch, right? And then the news would be on at 10:30, and she'd say, "Right, we're gonna watch a late night horror film. It's on BBC Two, and it'd be a Hammer film."
Yeah.
And I'd go, "Right, yeah, brilliant. I used to love it."
Yeah.
That's
Why
how I
not?
used to watch it, and I was only 9.
Yeah. They're
So
perfect
I
for
was in,
imagination.
yeah.
The
So
good thing about Hammer
I
was
was well into it, you know.
you could. They were pretty safe films, even though I mean sometimes the censors were told to give them an X certificate, even if the film perhaps didn't get an X. Didn't think well. Actually, it would be less certificate. They say, "Oh no, you've got to give us that X certificate," and they built on that. That's why now, they're all mostly classified at probably 12, something like that, or even less, PG even. But that's how Hammer were marketed. They had to have the X certificate, and they were the kind of thing that your mum could say easily. You could watch it, and there weren't really much gore or blood. Really, there was a bit of blood, but it didn't look. It looked how it did. It wasn't. They were sort of fairly safe kind of horror. Maybe that's why it's still quite a comforting. They did in sort of earlier part at 70s decide that they wanted to go more gory because the world was changing. Once films had started to get a bit more gorier, the Hammer were told basically they had to move with time. So if some of the Hammer horror films into the 70s definitely are more gorier, definitely, but are still relatively nowadays we wouldn't say are particularly bloodthirsty or gory, but it was the times, and I think that's the charm of the Hammer films even today, that you can still watch them, and kids can watch them, and they're quite safe. It sounds a strange thing to say, but they're almost family friendly. Hammer films, horror films, definitely.
No, I'm just looking. You've been on the subject now for about 25 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm quite. I really love, as you might have guessed, I'm quite passionate about Hammer horror films. It's some, like you might be.
I'm taking the piss out. Yeah.
But I am. I just get passionate about Hammer. It's a lot of memories. Anyhow, you're right. Let's get on with comments. And we've got Tony saying, "Evening, Ian, Del, you were quick off the draw there. I was deleting and you were removing the user." Yeah, thank you, Tony, as ever.
Thanks, Tony.
Keeping us an eye on everything. Steve's Gaming, hello and good evening, you old sods. Thank you. I'm so sorry. That's just awful.
No, you know who Steve is, don't you? I've told you he's a good friend of mine. I always give him my salute. There you go, my salute to you, Steve.
And he says also, I love me some ELO, Del. Awesome music, and Jeff Lynne was a traveling Willoughby too. Oh, he's put Willoughby.
No, look what he's put. He's put. I'll sound him out. He's put traveling Will Butty.
Yeah.
Is that the northern version of traveling Will
Chip Butty? It's a chip butty.
I'll sound him out, miserable bastard. Yeah. Will Butty. Yeah, all right.
Oh, all right. And Tony says, "Oh, sorry about that, Si."
Yeah.
And
our thoughts are with you.
Oh, look! Do you remember when? Look, we always get. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, so it was 10. Yeah,
538 Overture.
And I believe that was there was something about that number that it is chronologically the number after the Beethoven's fifth.
Yeah,
I can't.
I just remember that it was on Top of the Pops, and you went, "Huh? What's this?" It was like that, and wow, amazing. It was very different, and that's why they did well. They progressed, obviously, from that. And Cyrus says, cheers, guys. Steve's Gaming, I have ELO singles, albums, and CDs. Not all, but most. That's good.
Oh, bloody start getting them all then, you miserable
Yeah.
bastard. What are you telling me that you got gaps for? Me, get your ass in gear, get that wallet out and get that pound out your wallet and start bloody buying some stuff. I tell you, he's such a miserable honestly. He goes on and on. Oh, I had to pay £1 the other day for parking. Oh, did you? Oh dear, you know.
Here we are. Charles Duncan, Ian and Del, do you think Doctor Who Blu-ray is worth the money? I've only got standard copies and they look fine to me. So what would you say to that?
Well, you know,
I'd just say
my
it's
answer
whatever you've wanted
my answer to that is
yeah.
Are you a big collector? Are you someone that wants a collection set in a deluxe packaging, which has got some extra documentaries on there, in what the BBC consider to be the premium format, which is Blu-ray to them. If you're not, and you're happy with upscaling your DVDs, the only thing you're really missing is the newer special effects. If you just to talk about the Sylvester McCoy 25th season, just out of interest, there are 2 versions of Silver Nemesis on there. There's a omnibus edition, which has got all the deleted scenes put back in, with special effects added, which makes it makes it like an all new episode, even though it's not. Now, the thing about it is, for me, I'm not the biggest Sylvester McCoy fan, but I will say the 20th season was an upturn in quality. It was the start of things getting a lot better, because I felt that the following season, the following year,
best,
was a really good season, but they cancelled it. That's Michael Grade or whatever you want to put it down to. I won't go into it, but that box set, I mean, it's an incredibly box. It's got painted art. It's got a booklet in there. It comes with 8 discs. I mean, Christ, there's only 4 stories. Got 8 discs. So you can tell the amount of extras that's going to be there. I mean, they've separated the audio, they've upscaled the audio to 5.1 surround, they've done all sorts of stuff, which makes the DVD slightly obsolete. But if you're not into all of that extra stuff, if you're not such a critical fan that any of that matters, then your DVDs are just equally as good. You know, you're going to get as equal amount of fun out of watching the old DVDs that were released in the early 2000s as you are out of these new ones. To me, I think it's going to look like a fantastic set when I've got them all. I started off early. The BBC haven't gone mad and done 5 per year. They've released them in 2 a year or 3 a year max. So they've done it quite gently, which means it helps me with easing me in on my pocket. And I'm a big whore, I suppose is the word, you know, for Doctor Who. So if they were to tell me that they're bringing out the 25th season again with one extra documentary on it in 5 years' time, I'd probably buy it. You know what I mean? I would just be going, oh yeah, I'm going to get that. Yeah, it's going to get that documentary that's on it that I haven't got. Oh yeah, I can't have that. I can't not have that documentary. I've got to have it. You know what I mean? I'd be like that. So, you know, I've bought Doctor Who all the way back to the VHS days. I've bought them. I even bought them a bootleg. I even I even bought bootleg copies from Bournemouth. I drove to Bournemouth and had bootleg copies of telly snapped versions of episodes and all sorts of stuff, which were illegal.
Yeah.
And I drove 70 miles there and 70 miles back just to get my fix on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So, you know, it depends on how big a fan you are. And I'm a big fan. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, and you were going to say?
Well, I'll tell you what. I loved absolutely love it, and I wouldn't get rid of it at all. Is my Doctor Who DVD collection. I love them because it's a kind of a exciting for me. It was buying them when they came out. Soon as they came out, it was excitement, and just building it all up was fantastic. And as I said, I'm reviewing third and fourth Doctor stories, and I always watch the DVD, even though I've got the Blu-ray. The DVD is, I think, it is good. It upscales really good.
Yeah.
And so some of them have got really good documentaries. As they were more later releases, they tended to do like more special editions, so you'd get a second disc, full of extras, which is fantastic. So some people, I would say to some people, if you don't want to pay all that for a Blu-ray, there's nothing wrong in building up a Doctor Who collection on the DVDs. They're really good. I think they're excellent. And I wouldn't get rid of them for anything. I absolutely love my DVD collection. Now, I did have all the VHS Doctor Who DVDs, and I got rid of them. I don't regret it as much. I don't really regret it because the space factor involved and everything. But I did like the covers a lot of the VHS ones. But I've got over that. But these DVDs, I would not get rid of. I would treasure them. They're a real treasure to me. So I love all these new releases, and I get them. I get all these special editions. But I wouldn't change my DVDs, not for a million years. I love them. Yeah. Absolutely.
The one, I mean, I will say about the DVD ones as well, they've got reversible art. That's a plus.
Yeah.
If you buy the collector's editions, you don't get reversible art.
Yeah, that's true.
But the other thing I will say is, if you were to buy the whole of season 10 Pertwee season on DVD, even back in the day, it was more expensive than buying the collector's set on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
To have them all as a season in a sort of like
book, it is nice. Yeah,
packaging is actually really nice.
Do you know if any of the DVDs then have been deleted or are not available now? Then
they're out of print.
Are they?
I don't think they call them deleted. I think they call them OOP, out of print.
Oh, right. So
which means that when the warehouses and when the big stockists like Amazon and that have sold them all, that's it. You go to the scalpers.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm quite even more pleased I've got them, and they're even more of a treasure.
Well, it depends because whenever I've seen a Doctor Who go to Magpie and World of Books and that, they're still only a £5.
Yeah.
And even though they're out of print, and I think the reason for that is that a lot of people that are Doctor Who fans are buying the collector sets. So the people that are now wanting to buy the DVDs are either people that are double dipping and missed out the first time, or the odd person that's sort of like going, or that just wants the odd one in their collection.
Yeah, because I forget that people probably didn't buy them as they came out. DVDs were released. There's a whole new generation of Doctor Who, because Doctor Who didn't start its revival till 2005, so the newer fans wouldn't have even, well, mind you, some of them don't now, looked at old Doctor Who. But Yeah, I think I really like them. They're a real treasure to me, and but I do like the special edition, and I've bought every one that's come out at special editions, definitely. Anyhow, let's have a look. We got here. Oh, Tony says great cameo from John Mills as Kitchener. Yeah, at Umdurman. I can't even say that. Umdurman in Young Winston, and the charge of Churchill's Lancer Regiment into the Maddists. Yeah, he's there. Yeah, wonderful
The
film.
thing I liked about it was all of the footage of Parliament. I liked it when he got older. You know, it goes to the point where he's come away from being in the war, hasn't he, himself? And he's a journalist. We have to remember that Churchill is not always just going to be remembered for one of our greatest prime ministers. He was in the war. He was in active service himself. He was out in the desert. He was a journalist. He was
the Boer War, all that. And also, people forget that he was at the beginning. He was a liberal. He was in the Liberal Party and was a Liberal minister. He was even a Liberal minister before he changed over to Conservatives. And then he had like the wilderness years, when he was really not considered very highly. He was in the wilderness, political wilderness, really. And that comes across as well. It's all there, and wonderful film, absolutely wonderful. And then we've got here Richard. Oh, Vorton, the Beast Terror isn't Hammer. Yeah,
it's the Blood Beast. Yeah, it's a typo.
Yeah, typo. Blood Beast Terror. Yeah. Tony Del. Blood Beast Terror is Tiger. Yeah, I just got the 88 films release. I agree.
No, he just wanted to get the knife out and stab me.
As usual,
I don't
Peter
care.
Cushing saves as the best he can. Well, he does. You know, you always know that Peter Cushing.
The thing about it is that there isn't, as far as I'm concerned, there isn't a bad Peter Cushing film. Even the one I was mentioning, the 7, gold vampire, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Peter Cushing's in that. I love Peter Cushing. I'll watch Peter Cushing in shit, and I will get equal enjoyment out of it. It's not that. It's just it is a poor film. Whichever way you look at it, it's not about saving the film. It's a poor film.
Which one?
Sorry, it just is.
The vampire one. 7 Golden Vampires.
No, the Blood Beast Terror.
Oh, the Blood Beast Terror. Oh, yeah, it's not brilliant, but it's entertaining. I found it entertaining. I think it's entertaining.
But at the end of the day, Peter Cushing is so good that he saved the film Biggles. He's only in it for 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's the
most memorable person in it.
Yeah. I remember now. He isn't in it a great deal.
10 minutes.
But he's a doctor, isn't he? He's a doctor in it, and he's a local doctor. And he's all right though when he's on there. But the film isn't that bad. I enjoyed it. It's not. No,
but you understand where I'm coming from. It's not the greatest of films. It's got actors in it that, really, even if you look at their careers now, have done nothing in cinema, right? And the only person in it that you could instantly recognize and go, do you know what? Actually, he's got the best performance in it, and that's Peter Cushing.
Yeah. And he's not
the film's an hour and 40 minutes long.
Yeah, I've forgotten the lead actor's name. Who's the lead actor?
Summit Van, whatever it is.
He's not that good, is he? He's not outstanding. He's average. He's probably just very average.
It was supposed to jumpstart their careers. It didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's an American guy, isn't he? That's come over. That's it. Yeah. He's not very good. I didn't like him that much. He was like miscast.
Well,
I think he was miscast.
one of them is the son or grandson of the bloke who plays Willoughby in the Man from U.N.C.L.E., isn't it?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know that Wilfred Hyde White. That's a
Oh, yes.
so one of them one of them is called Hyde White, but I can't remember what their
That's right.
full
Yeah,
name is.
yeah. It's just they let the film down. I think. Yeah, you're right. I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
the guy who directed it was going to be directing the next 007 film, but he got so fed up of waiting for when
That he took
they
that
were going to
on.
green light it that he took that
Yeah.
film off.
Yeah.
I remember all my notes and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I did a capsule review, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah. You did. This is interesting. Of course, this news has come out. Richard says, looking forward to first Hammer 4K Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. The only thing I would say is, I'd have thought they might have picked a more sort of more well-known kind of title. I wouldn't say Captain Kronos is one of the well-known Hammer characters.
When Mondo Celovic came out with the announcement, I knew about it actually a week before that.
Yeah, it
and
seems a bit underwhelming.
When I actually sent a comment to him, he actually commented back to me and said, "Yeah, I got it from Hammer, but couldn't say too much about it because I wanted a little bit more information."
Yeah.
And of course, the information that's come back is absolutely fantastic news. There's 6 discs in this set.
Yeah,
6 discs for one film. I think I've only got one other film like that where it's just one film and there are 6 discs in it, and that was Frighteners.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of discs, isn't it?
Well, it's got 3 Blu-rays and 3 4Ks in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think the world has woken up and gone, wow. I'm definitely going to get that.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Yeah,
and
a lot of people are discovering Hammer.
It'll be an instant pre-order for me.
Yeah,
even if it is Captain Kronos.
In fact, you'll get loads of YouTubers will suddenly be Hammer horror fans and be claiming that they're big Hammer horror fans. There'll be loads of them, I guarantee you, which is not bad. I don't mind spreading the word, but there'll be loads of them. I saw your Hammer top 10, Ian. What is the Dracula one unavailable? I thought I had them all. Maybe I missed. I've missed one. It's when I went through it on my list and I couldn't find it. And what I'll do is I'll try and find out exactly which one it is. The one Dracula that isn't available.
He'll only tell you what it is because he wants you to send it to him in the post.
He's probably told you.
Then Tony will beat you to it. Then Tony will beat you to it. And then I'll be talking about it for the next 4 weeks. How they're all miserable bastards and keep sending stuff to each
other. Anyhow, I'll try and have a look for that. I'll try and remember. I probably, knowing me, my brain is like a sieve, but I will try and remember. Richard Vaughan, BBC Two Saturday night horror done bills from late 70s, early 80s, introduced to Hammer films. Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
And like I said, I told you that it was Friday. It could have been a Saturday that my mum.
But being an older git, I told you it was 1972. Appointment with Fear, Yorkshire TV. Yeah, that's when I was introduced. But you were probably didn't exist. You probably weren't born.
I did. I existed. But I just like the way it's called YTV because I say that an awful lot. I go Yorkshire TV. Yeah, white TV. Why are you watching it? Why? There's nothing on it. Watch the southern stuff, the northern stuff. Shit. What you watching this stuff? It's YTV. Why are you watching it?
Oh dear. Tony says, I'll be interested to see the price of that big Captain Kronos set. Definitely won't be getting it. I have a foreign Blu-ray still. I've got
a feeling I know what the price will be. It's going to be $59.99.
Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah. late 70s, early 80s, people first introduced me to Hammer films. We've had that one, haven't we? Oh, yeah, I remember ITV's appointment with Fear Selection too. Hey, good. Steve's going, Del, typo, mate, and you can't edit.
Yeah, because remember I told you it said Butty. Butty? What are you on about, man?
Tony says, I've watched the only Hammer film I've disliked recently. The Old Dark House, 1963. Got about 20 minutes in and gave up. Crikey, that must have been pretty bad. I've never heard of that one.
I have to say it's not in my 18 disc collection. It's not.
No, but for 20 minutes, it's pretty bad if you could only last 20 minutes. And then we've got Mrs. Doubtfire. Crikey. Good evening, gents. With it being Halloween tomorrow, do you like the film series and do you have a favourite?
So, do you like the film series of Halloween?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a favourite? I mean, I do like the film series. Mine's a quick answer. I do like the film series. I still think the first one is a great film. It probably isn't the best one when you consider there are 13 now in the series, 14 films, 13. But I mean, if somebody was to put a gun to my head, I'd probably just turn around and say, yeah, I'll watch the first one. Because I don't know, when it comes to Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends and Halloween, some people have told me that the remake, of Halloween that's part of that trilogy is actually better than the first film. I've watched it once and I thought it was all right, but I can't remember if it's better than the first one. The very, very first one. I enjoyed it. That's all I can say. So that's mine's a very quick answer. So yours?
Mine it's a series. I really enjoy it. I enjoy all the Halloween films, even the bad one. The one which is like sort of a reality TV one. I quite enjoy that. But it's just good. You just take it as it is. I'd say it's better than Jason X.
What isn't?
No, it's just good. I know it isn't the best, but I still enjoyed it. My favorite, of course, is the first one, but I do rate highly, even though it's a very different one. And a lot of people do now, I think, is Halloween 3, which is a very different film. It's in a way, it's the Halloween film that should have been sort of the idea, because the idea originally with Halloween is they were going to do different films connected with Halloween. It's just when they did that, everybody was going, where is he? There's no Michael Myers. Where is he? So they had to bring him back, and he continued. But it certainly wasn't the intention, I don't think, to build a franchise of films with Michael Myers. But it became so popular. How could you not? So
I like them so much that I've got them in steelbook. I've got them in tin sets. I've got them in box sets. I've got them in individual films. I've got 25th anniversary editions of them, guys.
And I like the remakes. I think the trilogy is very enjoyable. And
it cost me over £100 for my free steelbook tin set.
Yeah, wow. But I think Halloween Ends gets perhaps so people really go all worked up. You should see them all doing special videos, how it's terrible and the worst thing. But Halloween Ends, I enjoyed it. I don't understand what all the fuss was about. It's a good film, I think. Okay, they created this other character that annoyed people a lot and about him, but I enjoyed it. I don't know. I enjoyed it. But people got really uptight and But I think it's to me these classic franchises, which to me they don't make nowadays, which is well, they can't seem to do it right. But with Halloween, Friday the 13th, and maybe to a lesser extent the Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy ones, I've always rated them not as high as Halloween and Friday the 13th, because I think there's some real stinkers, really bad ones in Freddy ones. In fact, I would go far as say that for me, the ones that I enjoy most are the first one, which is brilliant. I mean, you can't argue with the first one, but they never be able to capture much. The third one, I think, is enjoyable, but they never quite get. It's a bit of a disappointment. I always think that set of films. It don't feel like, even when, like we say Friday the 13th, when you get varying quality ones, you're so into it and on board with it. You just totally enjoy it. Well, that's my opinion of it. And I think that's the same with Halloween. Michael Myers, they get the style, they know what they're doing. And you've got Donald Pleasance, of course, popping up again, and then without him even. But I love it. I think it's great. And I like H2O as well, which is one of the later ones. That one's really good, H2O. I just think it's a great song. But if you have to have your favourite, I suppose you have to say the original, because it is where it all began. But it's one that I really like. I totally enjoy them all. And then we've got Steve's Gaming. Ian Dell. I've been talking to the wife about buying a Blu-ray player, but she said no, because it would cost her tens of thousands to replace all DVDs. I did try.
I've got an easy answer for that, and it's like, you don't try very hard, Steve, do you? Because it's not about you're buying the Blu-ray player because you're going to replace all your DVDs. No. Your Blu-ray player will play the bloody DVDs.
Yes.
And then if you wanted to buy a Blu-ray edition of something, then you could easily replace it. And anything that comes out in the future, you've got a Blu-ray player that will play it. I look at it and go, there's so many ways that I could just go, I can tear that whole statement apart in so many ways that I would get my way. Because I'd be turning around and saying, look, love, we can put the DVD player up in the bedroom. Look, we can get a Blu-ray player. Look, you can watch your DVDs in the Blu-ray player. It'll upscale just like before. Yeah. And anything that comes out in the future, we can put it in this Blu-ray player and play it.
Yeah.
And it'll only cost 40 quid.
Yeah. And there's no harm in having a second player.
I could tear that. I could tear that one a new one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A new arsehole. You know what I mean? I would soon get my way. I wouldn't back down.
I did look up the price of a Blu-ray player. I think the cheapest I saw was about £89, something like that.
Blu-ray player?
Yeah. I thought they were cheaper than that.
They're cheaper. They're cheaper than that.
I couldn't find any cheaper.
No, I mean you could just go in anywhere like Kex or something, or
I forgot about them.
You could go into.
I was looking on Amazon.
You could go into Cash Converter. You could.
Yeah, you probably could get a second-hand reconditioned one cheaper. Yeah.
Just checking now, just to see.
But if you look on Amazon, I was a bit surprised. I thought they were cheaper. You look on Amazon.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking at the moment. The cheapest one I've found so far, $69.99.
Yeah. I thought they were cheaper.
And remember, the Friday next week is Black Friday.
Yes, that's a good point. Yes, and you might be able to pick up some good reductions on Blu-ray players. Yeah. Good point.
You can get one for $69.99.
Yeah. Which I think is good value, isn't it? It's good
which
value.
Was an LG, which, by the way, was an LG.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So I think Delboy answered your question really well, anyhow. So what he said is right.
Oh,
Yeah.
everything with me, by the way, is tongue in cheek. You know, I'm
Yeah.
having a laugh with you.
Yeah.
Your wife turns around and says no. Do you know what? If I had a
Yeah.
wife and she said no, I go, it's all right,
Yeah.
love. I'm not gonna have an argument about it. I'm backing off. You know.
Tens of thousands sounds a bit exaggerated, but that's all
That
I'll
is not
say.
that. By the way, is not an exaggeration. I've seen a picture of his collection, and I tell you what, it's bloody impressive. Jesus
Is it?
Christ! Oh
Wow.
yeah.
Well, tens of thousands is that I can't even imagine how many.
I
How
mean,
much?
that is an exaggeration, but
Yeah.
I have to look at it like this. Do you know what? If you were to list down individual names of films, right?
Yeah.
Then basically you can actually cut your collection down to not being sounding very large. But what you got to remember is, if you were to count up the discs, right? I bought collections of things like the series 24, right?
Yeah.
Right? There was 8 or 9 seasons of 24. Each of those box sets had 6 or 8 discs in them.
Yeah. That's
So,
right.
you know, if you were to buy the whole 24 collection, it's like 6, 12, 18, twenty-four,
It's a
30.
lot
You know,
like
and you're
that
going, all of
space.
a
Yeah.
sudden, all of a sudden, something that was only counted as 8 in your database is actually about 60 odd discs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
can actually be, and he buys TV stuff. Most of his
Yeah.
collection is TV stuff, like Randall and Hopkirk Deceased, The
All right.
Prisoner,
Yeah.
you know, and each of those box sets have got 6 to 8 discs in them. And
Yeah.
he's got UFO and, you know, Land of the Giants and all of that sort of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
he's got all of the Mission Impossibles. There's what, 8, 9 seasons. So
What you
yeah,
need is a very understanding wife if you're married.
it's the wife
'Cause
that
I
bought
don't
him.
think they see everything quite the same in shelves.
I
You
tell you
have
what,
to.
he's the tightest bastard I've ever come across in my life. Right, right. He saves all his money up, and he gets his wife to buy all the TV programs, and he watches them. Oh yeah, love, I'm going upstairs now with this thing you just spent 40 quid on. And thanks very much for buying that. And I've saved 40 quid myself because you went out and bought it. He's a tightest git you've ever come across in your life.
But I
love him
know
to
what you have.
I
You
love
have
him
to
to
have an
death.
understanding wife because they limit what you can do. I
Yeah,
remember it well.
love, can you go out and buy that £100 DVD box set, please? Because I want to nick it off you and watch it more than you're gonna watch it. And I
dear.
save 100 quid and I can go out with the money that I save. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Right, we've got Muckman Movies. Hello, welcome. And then we've got Tony York saying, "Evening, Jamie." And Muckman Movies says, "Hi, Tony." Muckman Movies just back from a brewery event where they just released their 11% barrel aged Imperial Stouts. Ooh, sounds impressive. Yeah, good drop of ale there, I reckon. um, 3/3, and I'm a little sozzled, just a little. Sounds good. Yeah, why not? Tony Hawk says, "I was terribly drunk at the time. Great line from the Fast Show." Oh yeah, the Fast Show. I love the Fast Show. Fantastic.
I thought the Fast Show was all right, but I'm not
Yeah,
over enamored.
I enjoyed it. There's no, I mean, you compare it with what is available now, and there ain't much now, is there going?
It was, as far as I'm concerned, it was a Monty Python of the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, because that's all it is. It's a series of catchphrases. It's Scootio,
Yeah.
all of this sort of stuff, and you put them all together, and basically you just add clips all put together with no cohesion,
Yeah.
just like Monty Python was.
Yeah, I agree. But I think it was enjoyable. They had the same phrases, the same catchphrases. The
Oh yeah,
same.
you had those double
People
take.
wanted that, and
No,
this week.
You had those people that measured the clothes, oh, suits you, sir, suits you.
Yeah.
All this sort of stuff, I get it.
Yeah. Anyone else think Hammer is overrated? I don't think I've scored 5 out of 5 yet. Wow. Well, it's all personal opinion.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's all personal.
Yeah, not everybody sees things the same. It's quite understandable. Horror. It's like, as I say, the biggest example I've seen this just recently is these Terrifier films. People are going mad and raving about them, and I just can't see it. I just didn't like it.
I'll tell you what. I'll answer it quickly from my point of view. Right? If I was back in 1958, right, and I was watching Dracula, I'd be giving it 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if the problem with retrospectively looking at horror, like looking at Hammer horror in particular, is you can't expect them 50 to 60 years on to be 5 out of 5s.
Yeah.
Right. So from my point of view, you wouldn't even try.
Yeah.
Because you've got to put yourself into the mindset of, if you were back in the day and there was no other horrors around and you didn't know that there were ever such films as Halloween and everything coming out, and Exorcist and all of that, then you'd have been giving Hammer horror films 5 out of 5 at least once a year. They might pump out 3 films and you'd at least give one of them 5 out of 5. So, I just look at it like that. Dracula, the very first Dracula film, I can imagine just what an eye opener of a film that was.
Yeah, the word is color. It's color.
Yeah,
and that people have never seen these in color before. The Universals were black and white, and it was a massive thing to see these in color. It was.
Yeah.
It really was. It was a big thing. For me, there's a few that are 5 out of 5, I would say. I think the one that a lot of people include, even in their top horror films, not top Hammer films, is The Devil Rides Out, 1968, Christopher Lee in that, and it's in more present day at the time. It's probably about 1930s, early 1930s, probably. I think a lot of people rate that very highly. I mean, if I was doing a list of my top horror films, that would be up there with The Exorcist and The Omen and Suspiria. Definitely, I rate that very highly.
Yeah.
And it's just captures something really great. But if you want to go for a gothic one, I think, like Delboy said, I think Dracula, the first one, the impact of it is quite amazing. It really is. And for the time, as well as and also the Curse of Frankenstein, which was the first one before the Dracula. It's 19. Is that 57? I think 57, 58. The Curse of Frankenstein. That was amazing. I mean, the laboratory, the way they'd done all that, the brilliant sets, outstanding. Yeah, so the more I'm just even convinced myself even more thinking about it. That had such an impact at the time.
Yeah.
Both those two films are extremely important. So, but that one, if I was to choose one, I still would probably put The Devil Rides Out. It's a perfect film. And you can't say, as I said, I would include it in my top horror films, not just Hammer films.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, of course.
because I just want to thank Tony really, because we've had a couple of trollers on and we've had another one come in, and it's starting to get on my nerves now. Now I wouldn't have said something if it weren't for the fact that we've had two. Right now, I'm gonna give an answer now, and it's something that I want people in here to understand. Right. So there's a person come in said make the movie original again, and he's put when are we getting the Delboy and Rock God stream? You used to have him on all the time. Now you blank him. Can I just say something to you now? I'm getting a lot of grief and I'm getting a lot of trolling because it seems everybody thinks I've blanked Rock God. Can you please, any of you, if you're ever concerned about this, go over and ask Rock God and say, who blanked who, please? Because I'm telling you now, he blanked me. And I'm sick of hiding the fact and taking the flack for it all. Can you go over to him, please, and ask why he blanked me and why I can't talk to him and why every communication channel is blocked to me and why, therefore, am I getting all the grief for it? And that's all I want to say on the matter. It's now getting to the point where my friend here, Ian, is having to suffer crap comments that are coming into here just because I'm in the chat. And it upsets me because not only does it get to me, but it's also ruining his experience of it all.
Yeah.
Ian knows all about this, and he's been a big backer of mine. That's all I want to say on the matter.
Yeah,
that is the whole crux of everything that's been going on for 3 months, and I'm sick of hiding the fact now.
Yeah.
If you wanna know what went on, go and speak to Rock God. And by the way, I haven't fallen out with him. If he wanted to communicate with me, I'd be saying hello and I'd have lots of pleasantries. That's it. Don't want to say any more on the matter.
All I would say, I just anybody that comes over and messes and says all these things, go away. We're not bothered. Just go away. We just want to get on and enjoy ourselves. And this is what we do. It's not going to change anything. We enjoy doing what we do. And I am proud.
We're not bothered. What we are bothered about is crap comments that are totally false. That seems to point the finger at a particular person on, and that person is the person that's at fault. But it's actually a total lie. I'm fed up of being the person that is apparently the person that's caused all the issues.
Yeah, I just the thing is stupid, and it's not going to change anything. No. So it won't change anything. I totally support Delboy. He's been a great friend to me, and nothing's going to change that. So I'd just like to say that. And also, I always get my plug in every week. Anybody new, and you're welcome to this stream and live chat as just us chatting. And if you haven't subscribed to Delboy, please subscribe to him. I put his link in the description, so please go and have a look. He's a great channel, does a lot of great things. He is well known for the blog, but he does so much more as well. Just go and have a look and enjoy it, and you will. And that's it. We'll carry on.
I've just got to thank my friend Ian. He's been very, very good friend to me. He's been very protective, very supportive, as is a lot of people in here. Tony, I want to say thanks to Tony York, Muckman Movies, Steve Gaming, absolutely fantastic. So many people in here. You know, I think people have got to know me now that there isn't a bad bone in my body. It's just some people are just, they want to put a finger of blame on people. And and because I'm a big community player, that big up everybody's streams, that if I shut up, then it must be my fault. Because I don't mention them anymore, it must be me. You know, think about it for a moment. There are two people in play at this. Why is it that there's one person that's at fault? So
we'll get on now, shall we? Yeah.
yes, please. Because I just
Yeah.
wanted to say it because
You
it's
don't want to
because
give them any more than
two trollers, and the first one that came in, by the way, says, "Don't bother being here. Go somewhere else."
Yeah.
How nasty can you be?
Yeah. And then Muckman Movie says, Ian, what hammer would you score 5/5? I think I said for me, it is The Devil Rides Out, definitely. Have you got one that you would put as a 5/5?
It's difficult for me because I've always liked the early hammers.
Yeah,
I thought they were very creative. They were vivid in color. They were absolutely gorgeous. I equally liked, as they got older, they got more daring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only time that I started to go, they're a bit silly, was when they started to become into modern age.
Yeah.
Dracula going around the middle of London or something.
Yeah, but I quite enjoy that. I just see it as it is. But yeah, I can understand people. I think it was.
Then I'd seen years and years. I'd seen years and years and years of vampire films, all being set in Transylvania and Eastern Europe.
Yeah, I get that.
That it looked really weird that suddenly they were at Windsor Castle or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm going, hey, what's this about? You know, so it is quite funny, really. But I don't think there's a really bad one. Do you know what I mean?
No, but I think, as I said, The Devil Rides Out is really one of the best, and it's always in I would say, in top horror films. If you're doing a list of your top favorite horror films, it's certainly in my top 5. You know, I put it in such good company. It's up there with The Exorcist, The Omen, and Suspiria as a great film. That's how much I rate it. Yeah. Jamie, this is Tony says, I enjoy on the whole. I just commented I recently watched the only one I've given up on. Oh yeah, The Old Dark House. And I like James Whale's Old Dark House, starring Charles Lawton. Crikey, that's a name going back. Oh yeah, look, it says from 1932. I've not seen that one, but
yeah,
some good films from 30s.
Well, you know, this goes back all the way to the Carry On arguments, doesn't it? Because some of the actors that are in the Carry On films were in films like with Will Hay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know, it doesn't surprise me that, you know, certain things that are in the Hammer horror films, you know, are equally the same with this. There's certain ones that are royalty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And of course, people forget that Hammer had a history going right back before it got into Gothic horror. Hammer were a film company producing loads of different types of films.
What's that film, Ian, that I bought that was a very first anthology film with the ventriloquist doll?
Oh,
Dead of Night or something.
Could be. I'm trying to remember its name.
But that was the people that actually went on to make Hammer horror films, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's an early one, is it? 1940s. Is that
1949 or something like that?
Yeah.
Five. It was one of the. It's what they considered to be one of the first anthology films ever. It had 5 horror tales. The last one being the ventriloquist doll, which was made into magic later on with Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Which was considered to be the spookiest one of the 5. And all I know is that I bought that, and I bought it for £6.
Yeah.
And loved it, but I can never remember the name of these bloody films.
Let's have a look. And then says, Oh, you know, it's a Wednesday when Delboy utters the word bastard. Yes, yeah.
I try to make
We know
things
we
as
hear
fun.
that when who's Steve's Gaming comes on.
I try to make things as fun as possible, guys. I really do. I don't mean
Yeah.
to bring things down, honestly.
Now Tony says here, let's have a look at here. He says here, I think it may be Dracula has risen from the grave. That's a difficult one to get. I think that is the one. Yeah, I've seen a US Blu-ray. That's quite rare. I have a DVD of it still available new. Yeah, I think that's what I mean in terms of. I should have mainly cleared it up. I said in Blu-ray. Yeah, that is. I think you still get it on DVD, but yeah, I think the Blu-ray is that there isn't one. But you said that there's a US one. Oh, that's quite rare. So I bet that is pretty expensive.
I don't think Dracula has risen from the grave has ever been.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't think it's been in those big compilation ones,
Yeah,
with 18 discs
I
in and
definitely
6 discs
haven't got
in.
it. It's not on Blu-ray. No, definitely. So that is the one. Thank you. Anyhow, you've saved me at work of looking that up. Brilliant, Tony. Thank you. Well, hopefully, it might get a release at some time. But whether there's rights issues, there may be rights issues on it. Probably something like that.
Oh yeah, because some of them are. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they have different distributors that are made by the word Hammer. So they do say a Hammer production.
Yeah,
and then
that's
at the bottom
right.
it will say distributed by Warner or distributed by, it's like it works like that.
Yeah,
I think
it's like
the licenses changed every so often.
I think people think that Studio Canal have all the Hammer horrors, but they don't. They've got a lot of them. They've got probably the majority of them, but they haven't. As Indicator have got them, and Network had them as well, and so there isn't, just one label doing them, and that's why there's some missing. Obviously, this one that is the one. I'm sure it is. Yeah, I haven't even got a DVD. I don't think of that. I'll have a look at that. Yeah, but who knows now? Because with Hammer going to change to releasing to 4K, and it's going to take ages. Who knows? They may get the rights to all these. Hopefully, if they get all the rights, they'll be able to release them all. I don't know if there'll be a problem, but that'll be great if they do. Hopefully, they'll get all the rights. Zavi 4K steelbook release of Red Dawn, $36.99. What a fucking ripoff! They're taking the piss now. Yeah, I don't know. That is a lot. Have you got that one? I think you have, haven't you, Red Dawn?
I'm pretty sure I got Red Dawn.
Yeah, I saw it on Sunday. I think it was this week. Yeah.
But what you got to remember is that the Disney ones are $59.99.
God, yeah. All those TV series that they've released. Whew.
Yeah, but I mean, they released one of the Predator films, and it was just a film, and it was in a steelbook, and it was $59.
Yeah,
pretty sure of it.
Yeah.
They just take the piss because they do them as deluxe sets.
Yeah, it's another. Yeah, terrible. But
it's whatever they think they can get away with.
But it's I know it's the collector's thing, isn't it? Fortunately, I've got no choice. But if you can do it and you're a real collector, you'll get everything that comes out. I can see that, and that's what people do, and they can charge what they want, and produce something even that's not very good, really. The Paul Hammer was a co-production with a US low-budget filmmaker, William Castle. Oh, yeah, I've heard of William Castle. Maybe that's what dragged it down somewhat. That's the one that he was talking about that he switched off. Yeah, William Castle, I've heard him mentioned quite a lot. And did he make a lot of these sort of low-budget kind of horror
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
I mean, the only thing I've heard about Hammer is that they've had several sort of
Actually, it
like
wasn't.
purse string people, but you know, some of them have left and then come back and all of this sort of stuff, and they've all said, "Let's see what we can do about the you know, the
As I
cheapest."
remember, William Castle, he's quite gimmicky, because it was him that did the Vincent Price one, the Tingler. You know, when you supposedly sit in the seats and you get these things going in the seat when you're watching the film. I'm sure that's William Castle, definitely. But mind you, in a way, they do it now, don't they? I mean, you get the sound effects sat down watching films now, don't you?
Yeah,
But at the time, that was quite a innovation to actually have it in the seats. Because yeah, it's the Tingler, the Vincent Price one, which I think is on Indicator. I think Indicator. I've got that. Yeah. I've always liked Halloween 3. Yeah, I think a lot of people love Halloween 3. It's a good film. 8 more days to Halloween. Halloween. 8 more days to Halloween. Oh, yeah, it's the song. Sorry, I just realized Silver Shamrock. Yeah, that song is very catchy, isn't it? It's a brilliant concept, the advert and everything, and wonderful stuff. Tony says, Jamie, Red Dawn as in Patrick Swayze. Oh, yeah, I have that on DVD. Good enough for me. The companies are on cash grabs, as I think they realise it could be the last period of relatively large scale physical media purchasing.
Well, this is where I was saying I can't remember me having Red Dawn, and I don't have many Patrick Swayze films.
Yeah,
so I don't think it. I did show that off this Sunday, but if I did, apologies, but I don't remember it.
Yeah,
Red Sun, not Red Dawn.
I think you might have had Red Dawn at some time.
At some time, possibly, but I haven't. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't buy Patrick Swayze films. I haven't even got Roadhouse.
Well, there, that explains it. Yeah, that's explained then. Yes, the original Red Dawn, Tony. Yeah, that's the original one. As Pugwall, 7 Golden Vampires, my guilty hammer pleasure, following on from Ian Hill's Hammer video, evening all.
I can't seem to win tonight. I can't seem to win tonight. The films I mentioned seem to be guilty pleasures for someone. So you know, I think I'm definitely going to.
I think it is good fun. I mean, the idea of Peter Cushing and
that's what I mean. I've got to put down tonight as a bus for me. I can't get anything right. Being crucified left, right, and centre. Pun intended.
We'll put you in one of these chairs, shall we now? I don't know, Tony. I'm reading articles that there's now a pushback on streaming services from the younger generation. Yeah. Hoping it's true. I think we'd all like to see that. I don't know. I don't know on that. I suspect, though, streaming services may have reached their limit. Definitely. You know, you won't get any new ones coming out, I don't think. I think, I'd be interested to see how it develops. Because I think people, when you've got these streaming services, I think some people probably have them and pay for them like Netflix every month, but don't really watch that much. They probably might watch a couple of films on there, but they don't watch that much. And maybe when they think, oh, we'll watch, I don't know, we'll watch The Exorcist. Let's watch The Exorcist. It's Halloween. Oh, Netflix haven't got Exorcist on. This is the kind of thing when streaming suddenly is exposed, I think, maybe to some people who are paying for it and suddenly realize that streaming is not always a great thing. You know, you can't just decide you want to watch a film because it's more likely not to be on streaming unless it's more of a current one, or there are back catalogue ones on, but are only on for a limited time. Like at the moment, there probably is Halloween kind of films on, some streaming, because it's Halloween. But then they disappear, and we'll have the Christmas ones probably next popping up, and then they'll disappear. That's the problem of streaming. Anything to add to that?
No.
No, right. Okay. That'll please the companies. Yeah.
Well, it might do, or it might upset them.
Yeah.
Because it means that they've now got to do a deal with Sony to get the distribution of the discs out, manufactured, put into packaging again.
Yeah.
Where they thought to themselves, "Oh, we don't have to do that anymore because we can stream the lot. And it won't cost us a penny." You don't know whether that'll please the companies at all.
What I object to, though, is why Disney are releasing all these TV ones in just a blooming steelbook format. Why can't we just have an ordinary release? Why does it have to be steelbook first? Because they're hoping to make more money. That's probably why.
There was an answer to that. I think it was because the Disney destroyed all of their contracts with manufacturing discs. Then they had to set up a new deal with Sony to get their discs manufactured.
Yeah.
Then they said, we don't know whether this will work or not, so we'll start it off small, and we'll just do them as steel books, to people that are that are in the physical media collectors, like editions that just buy steel books, because we can test our toe with that, and if it doesn't work out. But then when they start mass producing them again, they'll start doing them in slip covers and normal packaging again. But first of all, they've got to test the water to see whether
I hope that'll be good if they do that. Yeah, hopefully. In
other words, what I was trying to say is they've gone down the niche route.
Yeah. I don't mind if this works out all right. I'm quite happy with it going that way. That's all right. I think
that's how it was. That was how it was explained to me.
Yeah,
I think it was from mid media edition or something. It's a YouTube channel that seems to have his ear to the ground and all that sort of stuff. There's a number of channels in America where they go, "Oh, I've been speaking to Sony, and Sony have said this, Disney have said this, and they've sent me an early copy, and all of this sort of stuff." You know what I mean? I can't keep up with them all, to be quite honest.
Here's an interesting one. Charles Duncan says, Ian and Del, name your best Doctor Who episode, starting from Artnell to McCoy, one from each season or series. I think we'll put it down to series. Because we'll go through each season. God, we'll be here a long time. So, do you want to start off?
No, you go first.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Give me your William Hartnell. I'll then give you a William Hartnell back.
I've got a lot of fondness from it, and it is the Dalek invasion of Earth, the second Dalek story. I really love it. I think it's great. Absolutely. So that's my Hartnell one.
Yeah, I would have said exactly the same. So just to be different, I will say the 10th Planet.
Yeah. So a Patrick Troughton one, I have to go.
This is where it gets hard for me because Patrick Troughton's my doctor.
Yeah, I just have to go with it because I absolutely love it, and I was so excited when they found it. I remember, which is the Tomb of the Cybermen. I just absolutely love that.
So we've got similar interests because that's the one that I would have suggested. So
right.
If I'm not going to suggest that one, it will be the War Games.
Yeah, no, I'm actually anything Patrick Troughton I enjoy.
Yeah, I like even the ones that people say are shit, like Dominators and things.
Even the Crotons. A lot of people don't like the Crotons as much. I like the Crotons. It's fun. It's
Dominators fun. With the bloke from Crossroads in it.
Yeah, the Dominators one. That's silly but good. Okay then. John Pertwee, my favorite John Pertwee one. There's two really, but I'll go for
No,
one.
only give me one. And if you name the one that I'm going to choose, that'll be the third one in a row. I'm going to be pissed off.
No,
Go
I
on.
don't think so. I don't think so. Mine will be. It's one that not everybody would say as highly, but I like it. It is the Day of the Daleks
Yeah,
because there's time travel in it. I love the whole concept.
Mine's Inferno.
Yeah, I knew yours would be that. Yeah. But mine, I could. The more I've watched John Pertwee, the more I realise I really love that series. I could name a lot of them. Absolutely, Time Warrior, I absolutely adore. Absolutely, Time Warrior.
Yeah.
There's some good ones. Okay, so we got Tom Baker. Well, it's not easy, but I just have such a lot of an affection for it. Is the Robots of Death? It's just I just absolutely love the design, everything about that story, and it was the it was the second one I got on DVD because the Five Doctors was released. But I was so pleased to get.
Yeah, and I bet you people are going, why aren't you mentioning Genesis and the Daleks? But to be quite honest, sometimes I actually find that a boring story. I will go with therefore Brain and Morbius.
Oh yeah, exactly. Brendan Morbius. So Peter Davison, right? There's two for me, but I'm going to go for perhaps the obvious one that people always say. No, well, perhaps not always say it. They always say his last one, but I'm going to say Earthshock. I love Earthshock.
Yeah, because I mean, if it isn't going to be Caves of Androzani,
yeah, I didn't want to mention that.
I will go with what's it called? Mordrin Undead.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, there's a lot of good gems, and then we've got now. This is an interesting one.
Yeah,
the Sixth Doctor. What do you choose? I'm going to choose. I know it's one that they do release a lot. It's silly, but yeah, it's quite a good idea. The stories are quite good, I think. Which is Vengeance on Varos. I like the idea of the video.
I'll go with. I think it's called this Attack of the Cybermen.
Yes, that's a no. It's a good one. I think that Cyberman.
The reason for that was that at least they tried to change the chameleon circuit, which I found hilarious.
I didn't like the Dalek one. The Dalek one is perhaps one of the worst.
Oh, the one in the morgue.
I forgot. It's got a comedian in that, hasn't it?
Yeah, Alexei Sale.
Oh, it's not very good, is it? Not very good. It's a shame that. So now the Seventh Doctor.
This is an easy one, really.
I'm going to say try and be different because the Curse of Fenric I always pick.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's as far as I'm concerned, it's an easy one because it's Curse of Fenric. But go on.
Yeah, I always pick that one. But I don't know. I do like the Dalek one as well. In the what's it called? The dice just been released. I quite like that one. Going back to school and what have you.
Well, go on then. Choose Remembrance, and I'll choose Silver Nemesis.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Then have we got to carry on?
We're not going to go any. We're not going to go any further than that.
Exactly.
We'll be here all night.
Yeah, and it is the best. I sound like a preacher man, but you can't beat classic Doctor Who. It is the best. None of this rubbish that we get nowadays.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want about get on. I'll get shot. Yeah. Tony, I was relatively late getting a Blu-ray player, and certainly haven't replaced all my DVDs. Just ones I especially like. The player also helps a little with the picture quality on DVDs with upscale. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? The upscale.
Oh yeah, because the next comment from Steve is even buying them at £5 each, it would cost her thousands. She's
you would buy them at £5.
Well, I think it's missing the point. the player gives you
Yeah,
the option
yes,
to buy the Blu-rays. The
and if
Blu-ray player upscales just like a DVD player, but because the Blu-ray player is newer, it's probably going to upscale slightly better. I would say it might have an extra couple of features that would make them even sharper. The very nature of the fact is that it's not about transferring your whole collection over and getting rid of your DVD collection. It's about, if you go into a charity store and you suddenly saw a Randall and Hopkirk Deceased complete collection on Blu-ray for £1,
you would be,
you'd be stupid not to buy it for £1, and you'd be instantly able to play it rather than keep it to one side and say, well, when I do eventually get a Blu-ray player, I can watch it. And it gives you a bit more freedom in regards to, you could put that one upstairs, you could put it in the spare room, your DVD player of choice that you've got. This isn't peer pressure for Steve to go out and buy a Blu-ray player. I'm just giving the options that I don't know whether I'm getting the argument across. The argument to me is Blu-ray gives you more options for very little outlay. That's all. It does give you more options, and you can't say it doesn't, and it doesn't force you to have to go out and swap out your old collection.
I was going to say something, and then I've realized that that's not true. What I was going to say, you get with Blu-ray better special editions and what have you, which include a lot of new extras, and that is some true to some extent. But on the other hand, I think a lot of people nowadays forget that there's some brilliant DVDs with absolutely wonderful extras on. Absolutely fantastic extras and documentaries. I think people forget that. I don't know what I'm saying. I think if you have a favorite film, a real favorite film, it's nice to have it in the best way you can. And that's what I would say is upscaling. Like Blade Runner, for instance. If you really love Blade Runner, you want it in the best you can get it, and Blu-ray compared with the DVD is probably the best you can get it. And then you'd say, but what about the 4K? And yes, if you've got a 4K player, maybe as well. But it's just personal choice. If you're happy with your DVDs, I think that's great. I think it is. I don't think there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. You used to be able to get a Blu-ray player for under £50, but inflation has pushed the price back up, unfortunately. Yeah, that's what we've seen. I thought they were cheaper than the
inflation, components, all sorts of stuff.
I stand with Del on this, though.
Bloody first one tonight. The first one to say
use it for DVDs and buying future Blu-ray releases. It's a no-brainer, but a multi-region player, so you can import films that don't have a UK release. I totally agree there. I think having a multi-region player is a wonderful thing. The only thing I would point out, and I had to do a bit of searching for this, is that the Blu-rays, it may say multi-region, but a lot of them are just for DVD. So therefore, they won't play the American discs, and you need a Blu-ray player that will play the American discs. But you can get them, because I've got one that combines doing the DVD as well as the Blu-ray, but they do cost a bit more. That's the only thing I would say. But
I will say though, on Steve's behalf on this one, that Steve's a casual player.
Yeah,
he won't be buying anything American. He won't be importing.
No, well, then it doesn't matter, does it?
So he will go down the cheaper option. But that is an incredibly good point from Movies.
Yeah, and also sometimes you can do multi-region if you look up on using the control, press a few buttons, and you get codes, and you can change your player into a multi-region player. So
yeah, there's a website called AV Forums.
Yeah.
They
So
publish the code. They publish the codes on your remote on the key presses.
yeah, it's not all DVD players, but there's a lot that.
Yeah, unfortunately, the last 4 years. Yeah, it's the last 4 years, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
You used to be able with a special remote wand. I had one. It was one of these Logitech Harmony remotes. You used to be able to program them and then multi-region loads and loads of different players, right? Because it used to store key presses and then you transmitted it, and it made it multi-region, right? But you have all the players, I think, pretty much now in the last 4 years, they need to be hard coded. As you know, if there isn't the code already inbuilt into the player, i.e., pressing up, down, left, right, plus exit and whatever it is, then you can't do it. And what hard coding is like, where you put a chip over the top of another chip and you solder a couple of wires together to make it work. And that costs 30 quid or something. You buy them as kits or something off of the eBay, and you have to take the player apart and all sorts.
You can buy that on eBay. If you look, you can buy some that have already been done and sorted out.
Oh yeah.
So but you do pay a bit more money.
So what I was trying to get at was the oldish players, which sometimes are worth picking up. Right? Are great. My Blu-ray player that was also a 3D Blu-ray player, that was multi-region. I won't tell you the story now about my 4K player. My 4K player, believe it or not, is not multi-region. And the reason for that is that I bought a multi-region 4K player. It broke the first day I got it. And the place that I bought the Blu-ray player from offered me the £1,000 edition of the Panasonic player for 600 quid. So I saved £400, but that £1,000 player was not multi-region, so I couldn't turn it down, because it was the Panasonic 9000 player, not the 820. The player that I did buy, which was £499, that was multi-region, was the 820, which is one of the most talked about players. When people talk about 4K players, they usually bring up a Sony, an LG, and a Panasonic. The Panasonic one is always the 820. They go, "Oh, you got to buy the 820. It's amazing," and all that sort of stuff. I bought the 9000 in the end, but it only cost me an extra 150 quid on top of what I was buying, But I lost the multi-region side. He wouldn't sell me a multi-region 9000. He said, "Oh no, it'd have to be another 200 quid on top of that." I'm like, "No, I'm paying 1,200."
No.
You know what I mean? And remember, I just bought this along with my TV, which cost me 1,400. So yeah.
Tony Hawk says, Steve, over 12,000. Wow. That's an impressive collection. I've been putting my single DVDs into plastic sleeves from their cases, and I've done just over 1,000. Thought that was a lot. My God, doing those, that would take ages. 1,000 into those plastic cases.
Honestly, he showed me a picture. He has got a heck of a lot.
12,000. It is a lot. It is a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I don't reckon he's got bricks in these walls. I reckon these bricks are DVDs or something.
12,000 is very impressive. Is your house built out of DVD cases, Steve?
That's a better answer than mine. I reckon his stairs are made out of DVDs.
And Muckman Movies, yes, we have wall-to-wall DVD shelves.
Steve, he's a great man, I tell you, Steve. He's a brilliant.
Trying to cut down on space taken by them. I do have some still in cases, 2 disc sets and series, but that'll be only in a few dozen. Yeah, it is all about space, isn't it, when it all comes down to it? Make the movies original
Please
again.
don't read that one out. Can you move on?
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I didn't see that. I'm sorry about that. Oh, fuck.
No, you can put it up to it if you want. You can just see what I was talking about if you want.
Yeah, here we are. This is the idiots that are on the other ones. Look. We know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's always me that's at fault.
Yeah, yeah. We get the trolls. With regard to Hammer, I think the classics 30s and 40s Universal monster films hold up better than any Hammer. That's an interesting opinion.
That's an interesting argument. I will turn around and say this. I think the 30s and 40s Universal monster films are more fun. Because the 30s and 40s can be a bit hokum. You know what I mean? They're sort of set in their ways. The plotting is predictable. When you get to the 50s and the Hammers, not only did they add color, but there was a sort of like a layer of added stuff. And it's hard for me to put my finger on it, but the soundtrack was better, the music was better. You know what I mean? They added a sort of a richness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not taking anything away from that's not taking anything away from the Universal monster films, because I tell you what, I was the first person on Pete's stream to turn around and say to him and said, why isn't it that things like Bride of Frankenstein are not talked about anymore? Bride of Frankenstein is one of my favorite films. Of horror films. And it's a 1930 what? 33 film.
Yeah.
And it's better than the original Frankenstein.
Yeah. Agree.
And it's so revered that young Frankenstein spoofs it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's been probably in Simpsons, it's been in Family Guy, you know, that hairstyle with the grey wavy lines that go back.
It's an iconic film. It's one that if you went to film school, that would be, and looking at history of films, The Bride of Frankenstein is one that is talked about and examined, and as you say, it's become a massive film. It's films like that which are generally iconic. But I know what you mean. I think the Hammer films as a whole are a stronger lot of films than the Universal films. I mean, we talk about Bela Lugosi as Dracula, which I like the original Dracula. It's got atmosphere, but
the castle never looks better than in black and white.
Yeah, but I was saying, why didn't he carry on and make more Dracula films? He didn't. We've got different actors playing Dracula.
Oh yeah, but we know why that is now, don't we? I mean, they've basically portrayed Bela Lugosi's life. He was a difficult person to actually have on set. English was not his first language. There was all sorts of reasons.
But that's not to take away, as I say, the first Dracula film is quite amazing when you actually look at it. Amazing, the shadows, the way it is. It does seem rather slow. It is actually. I think it's under 80 minutes long. I don't think it's that long actually.
And they're all under 90 minutes. They're more 85. I think they're 80 minutes or 75 minutes.
I mean, I've got it in my collection because I revere it, but I don't see it as. I still prefer Hammer, but I appreciate that. But The Bride of Frankenstein is just something else. It really is.
We had Justin from Blue Justin on Saturday. He turned around and said one of his favorites is The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh right.
And I said, well, that's moving on a bit because that's the 50s.
Yeah.
But it is considered a universal monster.
Yeah. I'll tell you what is always interesting, and I found this when I did my Hammer top films. I thought, well, I've got to include one of Mummy films, and The Mummy is without doubt the weakest in Universal, and in Hammer it's quite weak. In fact, I chose the third Mummy film because it's the better one. But it's not. I don't know why. Because you think about it, Egyptianology, all that sort of stuff. It's quite fascinating. It's really good, but it somehow doesn't quite click. I don't know why. It doesn't quite get there. I don't know why. I can't explain it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one for me because I have to turn around and say, look, that some things are better in black and white because they add an era of spookiness to it. I'll always turn around and in my argument with the Twilight Zone, the black and white ones are the best because it's that light and shadow that Rod Serling even talks about. He said it's the it's the cross between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it between the pit of man's fears and the and all of this sort of stuff. You don't get that level of spookiness of light and shadow with color.
Yeah.
You just can't. Really, Dracula sometimes comes across with a green face, really, with the makeup and everything. You have to put no end of white, sort of like leaded white makeup on him to make him look menacing and red. But color adds that red contact lens that they put in his eyes, and you're going, wow, you wouldn't get that in black and white.
No.
So that it swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, Muckman, on a number of levels, and I'm on another plane in regards to other levels of going the other way.
Do you know what has just crossed my mind? Is this new Nosferatu film going to be in black and white?
I don't know. I've been asking myself that.
Yeah, I'd love to know because in a way that's what the first one is famous for. The way it's filmed, the shadows, everything, the scenes about it. So is this new Nosferatu film, is it going to be in color? I'd love to know that. We'll find out. I don't know when. Do you know, I've not seen a release date on this Nosferatu. It's always mentioned, but it's not happened yet. So is it supposed to be this year still?
Well, it's supposed to be before Christmas. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I told Pete, I said it's one of the ones that I've been really looking forward to.
It's kind of a bit worrying if they keep not giving us when it's getting a release.
Yeah,
I wonder. We'll see. Hopefully,
I'll tell you what, Josh is in the house. He might tell you because he goes to the pictures a lot and he sees the adverts.
Has there been a trailer?
I did not see a trailer for Nosferatu when I saw Substance.
Ah, interesting.
But it did show off the Lord of the Rings, and it did show Gladiator.
Yeah,
a number of them actually. So it might be that it's just that my cinema is a smaller cinema, and it might well be that they showed less adverts before the start of the film. You see, I don't live in a city; I live in a small town, so.
Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting to know, but if it is going to be in color, it will be definitely. But if nobody's seen any trailers, we don't know.
No.
Muckman was Ian agreed about The Exorcist and Suspiria, etc. They are incredible masterpieces of horror. Yeah, I mean, you've got to include Exorcist and Suspiria.
And do you know what? I really want the 4K of Suspiria.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen Suspiria once.
Oh, it's a beautiful film.
Once
I've seen it.
I've seen it once, and I have not seen it again since. And ever since I've been in all the chats in the last 18 months. People have talked about Suspiria in such a romantic way.
Yeah,
that I've got to get that at some point.
Everything they say about it is true. It's
You
wonderful.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I ain't got the film.
Yeah. In fact, I'm surprised when it's not in anybody's top 10 horror films. If Suspiria isn't there, I'm thinking, oh, that's a surprise. But everybody's got different views. Let's see what we've got next. Oh, Rock God. Who the F is Rock God? Ignore
It's
the
nice.
wanky
It's nice to get the support. But I tell you this, look, I just want to end it here because I don't want to keep going on about it. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, go and speak to him. I haven't blocked him. He's blocked me.
Yeah.
If you were a friend with someone and they block you, would you watch their channel anymore?
Yeah. No.
There you are. That's the question.
Yeah.
And I have to go, well, of course, if you block, you ain't going to watch their channel. Then if I'm not watching their channel, I can't mention them in my blog. If I then don't watch it on my blog, I'm the one that's chastised because they go, why are you blanking him?
Yeah. And you can't watch it. You can't watch it. Yeah. Let's go on from there then. Jamie. Oh, yeah. Tony says, and why can't people live and let live? Isn't life too short to make such efforts to annoy and bring stress to people? 100% agree.
Well, I'm putting my hand up and just saying, look, it's my fault tonight. But as far as I'm concerned, you've got two people coming in, and every single time it's a finger point at me that I'm in the wrong.
Yeah.
And it winds me up.
Yeah.
Now, I can live with it if it was my side of the channel that was getting it.
Right? Yeah.
But it's not. It's your side, Ian, and I'm sorry, but I just it's
like
a red rag and a ball. To have somebody come in and turn around and say, don't bother being here, go to the good chat in another channel. And then why am I the one who's blanking him? Well, these are all lies.
Yeah. But that's how these people are. They're just disruptors and they're not interested.
I said to Steve, I said to Steve, I said, I'm not even going to bring it up in my blog.
Yeah. Don't bring. I want in your blog now. You don't need to bring them up. So
I've said my piece now. I've said my piece now. Go over and hound him, please.
Yeah.
See if he after 3 months wants to say.
Yeah. I think if anybody just listens to what you said in your blog, I thought you hit it perfect about what all this business is. Yeah, I did. Anyhow, do you guys, this is Mrs. Doubtfire, do you guys normally get any trick or treaters knocking on your door for Halloween? I turn off the lights and pretend I'm out. I don't blame you.
We used to until before COVID. When COVID came along, we haven't had any trick or treaters since.
Yeah.
Before COVID, my mum was scared because she said, I've only got tins of soup in the cupboard. I ain't got no sweets or anything, you know.
Yeah.
I said, Mum, we'll have to get a packet of biscuit, like custard creams and stuff, and just
do
that because we're not going to go to the shops and spend pounds and pounds and pounds on Hasbro and all this sort of stuff, and then find at the end of the night you got a ton of them because no bugger turned up at the door. So that'd happen.
Oh, that's brilliant. I like that. That made me laugh. Yeah. So I think that's a good idea to pretend that you're not in, just ignore it.
Yeah.
You hear anything coming quick.
I look at it and it's like Steve. I look at it as it's an American custom.
Yeah.
Trick or treating. Not Halloween, trick or treating.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it came over from America, that trick or treat.
It did. When we were kids, we never had it. It was never there.
It really pisses me off, you know, because it's a little bit like Christmas and you get 17-year-olds going around carol singing.
God
bless this merry gentleman. 50p, mate. You know what I mean?
Fortunately, I don't think
20-year-olds coming round for penny for the guy, and they don't want a penny, they want a quid. You know what I mean? You're going, what a pound! What's all that about?
Oh, we take credit cards.
Yeah, take credit cards. Jesus Christ! Swipe my ass.
What says trolls somehow take pleasure from making people's life is a misery, unfortunately.
Yeah,
It is
and I'm not going to give them any. I'm not going to give them any more rope. You
know? Frank Alder, Golden Trip. Don't feed the trolls. They want to be talked about and want your attention. Yeah. Pleasure. Yeah. I hope you ban them morons. Yeah. We stop them, but they come back.
You can ban them, but they come in with another false account.
Yeah, that's the problem. Tony said, Frank, totally agree. They enjoy exposure. Best to just delete them and just move on as best you can. Yeah, that's what you do. Do you guys get many trick or treaters?
Yeah, we've had that
twice again. Oh well. Great tactic, Doubtfire. Yeah. I enjoyed the AD 72 and Satanic Rites Draculas, camp and very 70s, but like the contemporary setting for a change. Yeah, I kind of agree on that. Yeah. It was just nice to have a change from even though I love all the gothic, it was just nice to have something different.
Was it last week, Ian? I said, I think Vampire Circus was the last gothic sort of like old Victorian sort of like setting.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
and then it turned into Satanic Rites and AD 72 and all of this.
Well, the producers of Hammer, because by then you see, Hammer films were not doing quite as well. The sort of American influences were coming in about horror should be, and Hammer decided, we've got to change. So they went contemporary, but it didn't work out. It just didn't. They failed, really, unfortunately. But
yeah,
so it was. I had a bit of a do with Umbrella this last week. They've only gone and sold out of parts of my order I placed months ago.
I hate it when that.
I'm sure Delboy knows more about all this. I hear a lot of people complaining about these orders.
Well, Amazon were worse, and of course, Ian was well aware of one that me and Nigel were talking about in regards to Jaws.
Yeah.
They were cancelling the order without telling us.
Yeah.
It was actually him that came up to me and said, "Have you checked your order?" And I went, "No."
Yeah.
They'd actually cancelled my Blade Runner and my Jaws without actually emailing me saying we can't fulfill your order. They actually just cancelled it without telling me. It was then that I did my very best and ordered 2 copies of Jaws, just so that we didn't miss out.
Yeah.
And if Umbrella are doing that now, well, that seriously is now talking about. This is where it comes upon how much manufacturing they're doing of discs. You know what I mean? They're probably seeing that the sales are dropping and then shortening their print run. Their manufacturing process of how many discs they're doing. And then Umbrella are embarrassed and probably just don't tell you. We cancelled that. It could be that they're getting a lot of damages out of the production run. I don't know. It's a weird subject, and it's one that nobody's got a proper answer for me on. So, I mean, to me, it's a concern. I mean, I expect.
Sorry, Muckman. So they can't deliver 3 of the titles I ordered, but I've managed to get a freebie from them as compensation. Oh, Time Crimes! Oh, wow! I'm in heaven. Time Crimes, what a film! But that's interesting, though.
Have you? My question to Muckman is: have you managed to source it from another distributor that might not be which might not be directly from the Umbrella company? Have you gone? Have you been able to go to HMV? Have you been able to go to Italy or something and order it or whatever? Because I hate you to think that you can't get your free film.
Yeah.
because time crimes is a great thing as compensation, but it's still to me, it's still a scare story that they can do it even. You know, you can just cancel your order and go,
it is,
without a reason.
Yeah. Do you think they do have manufacturing problems then sometimes? And
well, if you think about it, it's made of plastic, and it's certain. They're only done at certain warehouses. There might be like 3 factories in Japan. There might be 2 in America. There might be 1 in this country, whatever.
Yeah.
And you know that they all have to have different covers for the different regions that they come
Of course,
in.
Yeah, that's true.
So all I'm saying is, how do you know that the pressing has, you know, they found out that the encoding has gone wrong and they've had to go back to the print run, and they'd already done 10,000 run off it. Well, it's going to cost a fortune to do to redo the 10,000 that were wrong. So they might just turn around and say, look, we'll do 5,000 and write 5,000 off, and people will have to be told that their order's not is going to be cancelled.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, or something, you know, because we're in an age at the moment where we can't afford that type of problem. And the Rockies are a perfect example. Warner Brothers brought out the Rocky Steel books, you know, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And every single one of them had a problem. You know, the sound was out of sync, had the wrong frame, and then they had to release a corrected amount of discs and then send it out to all the people. But they didn't actually put an advert out saying, by the way, anybody that's bought Rocky, just right here and you'll get it. It was word of mouth on Facebook that I learned about that.
Yeah.
So there might be 60,000 out there all thinking that their steel books and Rockies are all right.
Yeah, especially
I didn't know there was a disc replacement program.
I think about it because I think of all these steel books where people are not watching them, and they're not going to know that the discs are, you know, you've got to play it. Just think in 10 years' time, they might think, oh, I'd love to watch Rocket. Oh, I'll watch it on my steel book. Yeah. Oh, this is the problem. You know.
Well, with such a flurry of discs that happen at the end of the year, it would take you till February to get through what you bought in December if you were a collector.
Yeah.
And by that point, 2 months has gone by, and Amazon would turn around and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, there was only a 60-day return on that." Yeah.
It's a good job you knew about the Rockies then, isn't it?
Well, like I said, it was word of mouth on Facebook, and I went, thanks very much, mate. Because again, I told all the friends that I knew that had bought those, you need to write to this address. I told everybody, I people that, you know, were very close to me at the time. I told them, I said, please.
Right. We've got Tony says, Freddie Francis directed Dracula has risen. I've read that there's a problem with some of filmography because of his son. Oh, that's interesting. Who I think set up a short-lived Tyburn Productions, who only made. Where's the next bit of Tony?
Oh yeah, it's 949.
Here we are. It's a bit further down. Yeah, a handful of films, 2 of which are Legend of the Werewolf and The Ghoul, yes, which are only available on long out of print VHS and DVD. I recently came across a UK bootleg site selling them, along with quite a few rare films. May get them and report them back on quality of $3.99 each. Oh, that's interesting.
You got to go back. You got to go back to 940. You got to go back to 948 now if you want to
know. Some of the like, if you get some sort of member of the family, they can cause havoc. I know that's with Watership Down, isn't it? Something as well, but and this I've heard of this. What you mentioned,
Oh
The
yeah,
Ghoul.
Watership Down was down to rights of the I think it was the author and royalties.
Yeah. The Ghoul. Yeah. I definitely heard about that one. So let me. I had to jump a few here.
948. You got to go back to
Yeah.
Muckman movies.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah. The ordering system got all cocked up when they moved warehouses. Apparently, oh yeah, that's how you think. Yeah.
That
Steve
sounds
Gaming,
like a very weak answer because
yeah. Well,
surely
they've got to give some
you've
explanation.
got no. It's just that the warehouse is where you get the sales team that send and say package these discs, don't you? It's like
Yeah.
they're two separate departments.
Yeah.
So you would think it would be the sales team that basically cocked up your order, not the warehouse.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hey, whichever, matey.
Yeah.
I hope he gets. I hope you manage to get the ones later on or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve's Gaming. Ian Dell, if you were multimillionaires and wanted to make your own film, what would it be? Horror, comedy, sci-fi, or what?
Sci-fi.
Mine, I think, be horror, or I can have horror sci-fi because I
But
think
I did
sci-fi
that.
horror.
Now hang on, I
Yeah.
said that last week, and I got bloody pranked over it. Right? I'll tell you what. I'll make comedy, right, which will cost me 50 pence to make, and I'll pocket all the money.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I honestly, I thought you were going to say comedy because I know how much you love comedy films.
Yeah, but I'm no comedian. I'd do science fiction because I think that I could.
Yeah.
I know so many stories that I could probably find an obscure one and amalgamate it with some other obscure one and another obscure one, put them together and say it's an original film. See if I can get away with it.
Well, it says you're a multi-millionaire, so couldn't you try and get some
the
of your
other way of
favorite
looking
comedians?
at it? The other way of looking at it is I'm pretty sure comedies now are the cheapest films to actually make. Right?
Yeah.
They don't make them anymore because everybody's woke and doesn't want to go the wrong way with things.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, you could probably make one for around about 250,000.
Very cheap. Yeah.
And of course, because we're multi-millionaires, we'll make a pocket. You know.
Yeah.
I'll say it cost 5 million to make. It cost 250,000. I'll pocket the rest of the money.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could get all the best quality comedy actors, you could pay them good.
Just think how Peter Rogers, right?
Yeah.
Just think how much money Peter Rogers made with the last Carry On film after Emmanuel, which was all a clips film with just two actors.
That's right. Yeah.
Barbara Windsor, and all they were was in the back end of a cinema somewhere while they were talking about the clips.
That's right. Yeah.
And it must have cost them just the day's recording that they had for the first two actors. And he must have pocketed something like how many thousands?
Yeah.
We were all suckered and went and saw it.
Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, not happy, but I guess I got a freebie out of it. Well, yeah, you did get a freebie, but it doesn't. What happened is pretty awful. And then
you gotta go to Muckman Movers again.
Oh yeah, here we are again. Yeah, I was just looking. I have a couple of William Castle box sets from Indicator. They're good B movie fun. All right, yeah. So he did that one before. I like croutons in my soup. Yeah. Hey fellas, this is Through the Lens. Hello. You might have gone by now. I don't know if I was. Sorry, I'm late. I've just finished work. How are you both? We're grand.
Yeah, we're half an hour behind, but it's great to see you, Josh. I hope you're on the I hope you're feeling happier and you're coming along. I can't wait to hear another film review from you. I want to talk to you about Substance. I was itching to talk to you about
Yeah.
Substance, and haven't seen you for a week or so.
Tony says, I got a hack from eBay to make my Blu-ray player region free for DVDs, not Blu-rays. Yeah, that tends to be the case, actually. The Blu-rays, they don't.
They do sell hacks on eBay.
Yeah.
It's just that basically they just email you the code when you pay.
Yeah, you said it is try DV phones. I think. Yeah. Tony Hawk says, just watched the new BFI release of the Oblong Box with Vincent Price and Christopher Lee. Even though produced by an American company, it felt very much like a Hammer production. That sounds good. The Oblong Box, especially with Vincent Price there. And The Invisible Man, 1933. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It's one of my favorite Universal films. Yeah,
Claude Rains, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic film. That.
I like him as well in the Abbott and Costello.
I forget about it.
Abbott and Costello meet the Invisible Man. It's the voice of Vincent Price, if I remember right.
Yeah. And then Frank Cole says, I bought 2 Blu-ray this week, Die Hard Legacy Collection and War Games, both for £6. Local charity shop, were sealed too. Oh, you did well.
War Games, I love the film.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's great.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's all about Professor Faulkner, isn't it?
It's very good.
Shall we play a game?
Yeah. McMahon says bargain, and McMahon says, I think the new Nosferatu film, is a mixture of colour and black and white, Ian. Right.
I was hoping it was going to be a film in sort of like sepia, when they used to try to add colour to black and white.
That's interesting. Yeah. There is a trailer. I should watch. I normally don't watch trailers, but maybe I should have a look.
I know there is a trailer for it, but what I'm saying is I don't know when the trailer has last been at the cinema.
Yeah,
to say that it's close.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Frank Holder, Halloween, we unplugged the doorbell. Can't be dealing with that crap. Yes, I don't.
Poor sods that can't do that. Because it's not exactly like plugged in with a plug socket. It goes it's hardwired to the bloody electric.
Yeah. Sue's going, Frank, that's just what we do. Yeah. Charles Duncan, good night, guys. Great show. I'm shattered. I don't know how you do being on so long. I don't know what to do. But thank you, Charles, for being here.
Charles, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Yeah. And have a good rest and a good sleep. Yeah. Tony says, have you seen Night of the Demon, 1957? Watched the Indicator release this week. Not a bad early supernatural thriller. Yeah, I've got that one. Excellent film, Night 57. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
Outstanding. No,
I don't think I've seen these that he's talking about now.
Primevals, The Devil's Candy. Oh, and a lizard woman. A lizard in a woman's skin. I've got that. I've got to watch it. It's one of them that Tony sent me DVD, which is on my list to watch, which I've got there from my Umbrella order, which I do think are available anywhere else. I don't think are available anywhere else. Yeah. The Devil's Candy. It's a great title, that, isn't it? Jamie, I got a Blu-ray. This is it, of Lizard on the Mondo Macabo label from eBay. Yeah. And Muckman says, yeah, put his thumb up. I'll take a look. Muckman movies. Tony, Night of the Demon is bloody great. I actually know the guy who did the commentary on the Indicator release. It's his favourite film. Oh, fantastic. Jamie, I've used a company called Strange Vice in the past for some rare obscure releases. I always found them very efficient with next day delivery. That's pretty good to get next day delivery.
I've never heard of them.
Strange Vice. No, I've not heard of them. And we got
sounds a bit suspect to me. I reckon he's getting porn from there or something.
And then noted Tony, and that's it. We've come to the end. Yes, we've actually got there to the end.
Well, there are. I mean, we do know that there's not to name anybody's streams, but we do know that there's a lot of streams going on at the moment.
Yeah,
a heck of a lot.
Yeah,
so it's just nice that we've got.
I'm glad. Thank you, everybody that has joined our stream. I really appreciate you all coming on. We're on every Wednesday. Every Wednesday we'll be here. We don't bother about all these other fly-by-nights that think
just before you go, because it's going to be a long time before you get to review the 25th season of Doctor Who. What's going to be the highlights, do you think, of that particular box set for yourself? I mean, you said you like Remembrance of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Silver Nemesis is good. I can't stand Happiness Patrol. I can't stand Greatest.
Happiness Patrol. I need to watch Happiness Patrol again to see if it's improved, but I don't know whether it has. It was probably one of the worst rated ones, but. And that one, is it Paradise Towers? I'm not that keen on.
It's the greatest show. It's the greatest show in the galaxy.
Oh, there's that one, yeah.
And Paradise. It's great show, and the Happiness Patrol. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's two on here that are good. Two on it that I think are pretty poor.
Yeah.
And the next season. It was much better. It was 3 out of the 4.
The Sylvester McCoy's final season, I think, is great. It promised it would have been interesting for another season, because I know they had plans and they were looking forward to what was going to happen, but of course it never happened, which is a shame. I think he was getting into his stride on that final season.
I'll tell you what I didn't like about Sylvester McCoy. All the way through all the seasons he was in, right?
Yeah,
he played up to the cameras a little bit too much, right? I mean, if you ever get to open up your box set and you put in Silver Nemesis, you'll see every trope I'm just about to talk about is in these 3 episodes, right?
Mm.
He went into the basement of Windsor Castle, right? He came out the TARDIS, touched something, and he went, ooh, that nearly attacked me then, and all of this sort of stuff. And there's these sort of like jokes like this, and I'm going, it's sort of like a startling moment, but he wasn't scared or anything at all. That I hated. There's too much of him leaping and jumping in front of the camera as if he was a stuntman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, in the Silver Nemesis, he leaps over this crater and lands on a mattress, right? You can't see the mattress, but he does this sort of like leap, like William Shatner did a leap in Star Trek 6 when he was trying to do, right? He does this leap and all of the stunt work is nothing like Havoc was in the 70s, right? Where they got a proper stunt team in.
Yeah.
They all did these. Every single stunt looks like they do a forward roll or whatever it is. It's like overhand, right?
Terry Walsh, I think his name was, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
All these,
all of the music in the whole of the Sylvester McCoy era seems out of place.
Yeah,
Doctor Who, it's got this weird sort of like penny whistle type notes and stuff.
I know you seem a bit more negative about it, and I can understand why.
No, I'm just letting you know, right?
No, I can understand why.
These are the tropes I didn't like, and yet I still like Silver Nemesis. I still like Remembrance. I still like Curse of Fenric. I still like Battlefield. I still like Survival. I'm just letting you know. If you look in every single one of these, the stunt work is terrible. The music is terrible. And Sylvester McCoy hams it up with some sort of like bad joke or something.
Yeah.
You know, like he'll sort of like act or ham it up, which doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
And it's that ruined me, because as soon as he got into the mystery bit, you know, with the who are you, Doctor? All this sort of stuff, or you know, all of that works.
Yeah,
and he's got that sort of face where you go,
they were going to develop that.
You've got such a poker face.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah,
you know,
it was going to be developed. They had all sorts of good ideas. It's a pity. But I still say, even bad classic Who, to me, I always say it, I know I'm boring, but is much better than this new rubbish that we've got. It's far better. Even bad Who, Oh, we got some more comments. Early night tonight. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Leeds International Film Festival starts this Friday for 2 weeks. I've got 6 films booked. Brilliant. That's good support in this. Brilliant. Tony says, early enough to stick a film on, although I'll no doubt fall asleep. Good night, all. Thank you, Tony, as ever, for being here, and enjoy your film. Hopefully you'll find, I'm sure you've got some great films that you want to watch, but thank you. See you next week.
And any films that you do get round to see, I know they'll be in the post all the way to Ian anyway. So, you know.
And Muckman Movie says night, Tony, and good night, Jamie. Thank you for being here again. Thank you always for your support. And we're going to go now. And thank you, Delboy. It's been great.
I've had a great time, and I've had a great time, and I just hope I haven't brought anything down. It was just
adios, muchachos.
Adios, muchachos.
Yeah. So it is good. Delboy, say your farewells.
Oh no, thank you everybody that's tuned in. Please keep supporting Ian. He is such a nice guy. He needs your attention, because basically I don't know how many more years there are left in him.
Yeah, I know.
And he needs the tea bags. So so he needs to make sure that you send him tea bags in the post. And salute to everybody, and thank you very much for all of your support. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, thank you, Delboy. And I'll just say my usual farewell, which is, and all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.